Don't worry, I'm not as fragile as I look. Try to kill me, if you can.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at optional bosses who are so hard most of us choose to not deal with them.
Then, my path is clear.
Number 10, Sharon, Hades. In Hades, players are taught to fear their imposing father. But as it turns out, it's the ferryman of the dead we should all be afraid of.
Sharon must be nearby.
Sharon usually acts as a merchant, but after beating the final boss once, you'll occasionally spot a bag of 300 obols in his shop. Money ain't free, though, and an annoyed Sharon will kick off the fight when you take it.
Sharon, look, I can explain. It's just, I've grown very accustomed to taking stuff.
For someone so ancient, Sharon moves with startling speed. His wave attacks cover a lot of ground, and his ore packs a surprising punch. The fight's difficulty can vary depending on how many power-ups you've gathered along the way. Regardless, it's a tricky bout, and we'd just as soon leave the man's money alone. Number 9, the Nameless King, Dark Souls 3. From Software's catalog overflows with brutal boss fights, both optional and required. When it comes to the Dark Souls series, we're good with never fighting the Nameless King again for the rest of our lives. The first phase is just plain unfair as the king rides around on his pet wyvern, trying to stomp you or burn you to a crisp. Many of these attacks come from out of nowhere since the camera's too close up to include the beast's full body. But even after that, the king himself is just as frustrating. He's a lot faster than you'd expect, and his moveset perfectly shows why he's the king, especially his lightning attacks. Number 8, Sigin God of War. The fight against the Valkyrie Queen may be well known by this point, but we have a feeling most players never got a chance to beat her. Even getting to the fight is a major uphill battle. You must first find and defeat 8 ogre Valkyries, most of which will claim victory over you at least once.
Watch out!
If you don't give up, Sigin will probably make you since she compiles most features of the others into one gloriously maddening package. You'll need to constantly switch between blocking, parrying, and attacking at the proper moments to stand a chance. Even then, frequent deaths are a guarantee.
Thank you, friends. You have saved the Valkyries.
Number 7, Absolute Radiance, Hollow Knight Godmaster. Hollow Knight is a fairly hard Metroidvania, and its final boss, the Radiance, is a pain and a half to deal with. So in one of the game's expansions, Godmaster gave us the chance to fight an even harder version of her. Many of us simply said, no thanks. To even get to her, you have to defeat 5 boss rushes without dying. We shouldn't have to tell you how difficult that can be. Absolute Radiance uses the same attacks as her predecessor, they're just a bit worse. All of her moves deal more damage while her range attacks come with more projectiles. She makes the familiar seem unfamiliar, and she's fought across 6 phases. Number 6, Inner Age 3, Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. When Nintendo released the Octo expansion for Splatoon 2, it capped everything off with a fight against a brainwashed Agent 3. Across 4 phases, you'll have every single Splatoon skill put to the test, and it isn't even the fight we're talking about. Because as bad as sanitized Agent 3 is, the optional rematch is multiplied tenfold. Inner Agent 3 comes with an extra phase, but that's far from the only increase in difficulty. They're able to dodge your attacks with ease, as well as unleash their own with higher accuracy and a variety of weaponry. No matter how good you are online, this fight will make you question it. Number 5, Demon of Hatred, Sekiro's Shadows Die Twice. The name of this boss is pretty accurate considering hatred is a dominating emotion during its fight. After beating the Divine Dragon and returning to the Sculptor's Idol of Ashinka Outskirts, you'll get the opportunity to face this boss, but we really recommend that you don't unless you want to rage, that is. The Demon of Hatred may be a bit slow, but he makes up for it with a wide range of deadly attacks, many of which are fire-based and have different ranges. Fairly easy for the demon to deplete your health in just a few blows, though you can only whittle away at his. Number 4, Asmat, Final Fantasy XII. The Final Fantasy franchise has some of the hardest optional bosses in gaming history. And while many players likely skip out on most of them, Asmat from Final Fantasy XII is on a whole other level of tedium. With 50 million HP, you have your work cut out for you even if you're as strong as you can possibly be. At half health, the Asmat will reduce the damage it takes, while at 1/5 health, it increases its already impressive damage output. It also uses a move towards the end of its life that can reflect your own healing spells onto it. This fight can take hours at a time, so we can't blame any players that didn't want to commit to it. Number 3. Yoora, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remai.
Then, I was told to save Sora.
Huh? Then what's with the weapon?
Time to end this.
Like Final Fantasy, the Kingdom Hearts series has many optional boss fights that are tough enough to dissuade most players from attempting them. Yoora is the latest of the bunch, fought at the end of the third game's Remind DLC. After completing the main story bit, you'll unlock the option to face 13 bosses.
Gotcha!
There's no indicator that a secret fight against the mysterious Yoora unlocks afterwards. Even still, he has a reputation. He's wicked fast, can teleport, has a variety of ranged and melee attacks, and can possibly steal your health and items. Of course, being a secret boss in an RPG, he's also incredibly durable and frighteningly strong.
I guess that my powers aren't needed yet.
Number 2. Elizabeth, Persona 3.
I make my living as an elevator attendant, but I know several effective ways of inflicting pain.
Atlas added the Velvet Room's attendant, Elizabeth, as a secret boss for New Game Plus players. But only those with the utmost patience should attempt fighting her, and even then, who needs this kind of hassle? There's a laundry list of rules to follow, not present in other fights. You must fight her without any allies, you can't use personas or accessories that negate her attacks, nor those that reflect them. If you break one of her rules, she fully heals herself before insta-killing you.
I have chosen Persona.
She also fully heals once her health drops below a certain point and cycles through different personas each turn, forcing you to adapt on the fly.
You have overcome the most difficult obstacle I've placed in your path. You shall receive your reward, the same as always.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Demi Fiend, Megami Tensei series. Clearly, JRPGs are a haven of challenging optional bosses, and no boss is more worthy of skipping than the Demi Fiend from the Megami Tensei series. Originally the protagonist of the third game, the Demi Fiend shows up in a handful of other entries as a boss. If you begin one of his fights with an ability that counters him, the Demi Fiend insta-kills you. That's not a fluke either, as he has another insta-kill attack that he can use during combat on top of all the other powerful ones. He'll also heal once he gets down to half his health bar and spawn another minion every time you get rid of one. These fights are only meant for players who really want to put themselves through the ringer.
Wow, you're pretty good. Didn't think you'd actually beat him.
Which optional boss do you skip every time? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more great gaming videos.
Freedom comes at a price, milady.
You speak truly.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.